Look, it's leading away. It's trying to get away from her. It's just so, it's like so dull. I just can't.
I'm not sure that I have the strength to listen to all these stories just for one story to use against them. Hits play immediately.
Okay, I'm struggling with this. I'm really struggling with this. I'm really struggling with this. This is like the worst possible content. I am locked in for at least an hour of sugar and spice, okay? Like, these are Cybermen. These are Cybermen, okay? It's a 5-hour debate. You're not reviewing the whole thing, right? Okay, guys. We are back for another episode of the Sugar and Spice podcast with Aaron and Pixie. With Aaron and Pixie. Huge stuff. Huge episode. Open stream. Aaron immediately on phone. Yep. Huge, awesome stream here. Doing a review of Pixie's debate yesterday. I thought about covering this. Pixie's debate yesterday with Andrew Wilson, Big Papa Fascist of Crucible, okay, on whatever podcast. It was a 5-hour debate or something. Pretty crazy. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I don't know if you guys have seen, we've got some photos, actually. We've got some photos. Pixie uses a very strange... Has anyone got the... This is the photo Pixie uses for whatever podcast. That's not her. That's an AI image. It's an AI image. That is Pixie run through some AI filter. This is Pixie.
We're good. Let's start it. Oh, wait. I didn't even realize the thing changed. Oh, no.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
We're professionals here.
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously. Oh, what is it? Do we get a follower?
We're both blind, so
Yeah.
either thank you for the follow, for the like. I don't know what happens on Twitch. Okay, I'm a YouTube gal. I definitely don't. I don't even like well, I shouldn't say that. I'm getting used to the Twitch.
She does.
API.
Sadly, I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it, but she's got the incel chin profile. This is an incel side profile. I hate to say it.
User face. Okay.
I would see this on a looks maxing forum.
Welcome to the Sugar Spice Podcast, episode 3. I'm your host, Aaron, aka Straighterade.
Hi, I'm Pixie. I'm a little bit of a mess right now. I'm so tired. I'm like in pain. I'm not in pain, but guys, it's been hard.
Okay. In case you didn't know, she did back-to-back appearances on some podcasts. You did Saucecast, Valuetainment.
Yeah.
She did Valuetainment Saucecast on Thursday. There was a delay. Can you tell me why there was a delay or no?
They just had like a meeting, like a business meeting, and it was supposed to be 30 minutes. It ended up being an hour. So
The meeting of the minds. Could you imagine being in the Valuetainment meeting, talking about how you're gonna valuetain the masses best? I'm sure it's high level shit. High
it's
IQ.
the highest level shit. I don't know. So they did that, and then we started late, and then we were supposed to do this Thursday, but I think we're gonna move it Sundays.
Yeah. Between our schedules,
we're changing
thinking that,
schedule again?
Sundays is cozier and the better day to do it because that's when we have the most free time.
Yeah. And then the day after, I went to whatever podcast, so that was like 8 hours of traveling or more. And then the next day I came back, and I was stranded in the airport for fucking ever.
Because of the weather or what?
I was actually talking to someone about Sugar and Spice Pod the other night, and I was saying, like, I don't hate all women online. Like, you can have two women talk and it'd be funny, and I'd never listened to it before, but I looked up Red Scare. Obviously, Deep calls this Inbred Scare. And they're actually, like, kind of funny. But I can listen to this.
Bald-headed brother doing his thing.
Didn't realize he was black until I read his Wikipedia.
He is. He's like the Thomas Chatterton Williams of the manosphere.
He's very light skinned.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if there's any pics of his father.
Is he a yellow bone? Yeah, he's not a red bone.
Huh?
He's high yellow.
What? What? What's a red banana?
These are like different shades and grades of black skin
One
color.
of these guys is his dad, and they're both pretty black. So, these two brothers.
The one on the right does look like fat, older Aziz Ansari.
What's the yellow? What?
Some black
no,
people
this
do
is
be
him.
looking Indian though. That's his dad.
I think Indian people be looking black.
That
personally.
yeah, hard to say.
This is funny.
His
Yeah, I've been with a dark skinned guy before. Southeast Asia.
okay, yeah, and I was trying to learn today who Andrew Tate was because recently
Yeah, never
several
heard of
people
him.
that I know from media circles have strongly suggested, by which I mean like literally urged me to have him on.
On the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's a misogynist.
Yeah, because he's anti-vax and a misogynist. And I was like, something, like I'm an instinctual animal at the end of the day. As much as I pretend to be male-brained, I go by the most feminine thing of all, which is instinct. And something deep in my core said no.
Oh, I got a bad feeling about it.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's done some monstrous things.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know or care if he's done monstrous things because, frankly, anybody in the
Why are you as a man in Romania? It's that just one of those massive red flags where it's like, and regardless
BAP
if
on
he,
suicide watch.
if he technically,
I'm just kidding. He's not in Romania. He's somewhere in like
we don't know.
That
South
reference.
America?
Southeast Asia.
He's abroad. We know that.
Yeah.
As a
Like there are amusing moments to this. There are amusing moments to this. There's like little jabs at people. They're making jokes about race. It's funny. It's listenable. It's listenable. It's better than this. It's better than this. It's so much better than this.
Podcast. So that was like 8 hours of traveling or more. And then the next day I came back and I was stranded in the airport for fucking ever.
Because of the weather or what?
Yeah, the weather delays basically made it impossible to come to like Miami. So I was literally
My plane was delayed because of the weather. Amazing. Thank you, Pixie. Thank you. Let's spend 5 minutes on this. Pixie. Tell us a story about how your plane was delayed because of the weather. Please, Pixie. Please. Talk about this more. That's what we want. That's what the viewers are here for. Hear about your plane being delayed because of the weather.
literally, I'm not joking. I woke up 5 a.m. to be able to travel all the way back.
Cool.
And I did not get home until
We're
3
actually going to
a.m.
spend 5 minutes on this.
So-
I woke up so early and I got to the airport and then it was like raining and then there was like thunder and there was lots of like wind and the plane and then there was an announcement and they said, oh, your plane's delayed. We'll contact you when it's not delayed. Please shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Talk about how Andrew Tate isn't really black.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm here. Getting
Call
out of
him
bed
Indian.
was the hardest thing I've done today, honestly.
Dude, I can't stand those fights. I had the opportunity to go and debate Andrew Wilson as well. Brian reached out to me, and I just couldn't do it between what my regular schedule has been like, knowing that the demand of like, I just don't like air travel. It got old really, really fast. Okay.
It's hard. Oh my, why does she always do
One
that?
day she'll, Dog Eve loved it, and now she'll like never come up here.
Ah, we win.
Okay. Third mic today.
You need the remote?
If she's good, I might kick her out though. If she's not good. Hello. Say hi.
Hi, baby. Hi, my love bug. Ah!
That's what I'm worried about.
No, she can with me. She can be with me.
I'm
That
not a
dog don't
huge
fuck
fan
with
of
you,
the-
Pixie.
of the
That dog don't
face
fuck with.
flicks.
That dog does not fuck with her, bro. Bro, leave
I'm
the
not a
dog
huge fan
alone.
of the face
That
flicks.
look, it's leaning away. It's trying to get away from her.
That's what I'm worried about. I know. I'm not a huge fan of the
Look, it's like Erin, save me. That dog does not fuck with you.
Of the face licks.
And she's picking up kissing like how do I see him?
I'm like, you love me, goddammit. No.
She's going limp. Go away. It's fuck.
Don't press the keyboard. That's where the line is at.
If she could just be chill, I would be fine with it, but she won't be chill.
She was
Okay.
she left for her.
All right.
her
She's
Dude,
off
the
the
dog
producer.
fucking hates
Anyway.
Pixie.
So yeah, I didn't do this one. Maybe I'll debate Andrew Wilson at some point. It just seems like a lot for me to go out all the way to the whatever studio to debate him, because I could debate him on the Crucible at any time if I wanted to remotely, which is definitely more my speed, because as much as I like the in-person appearances, they're super hectic and annoying to work around, because you went straight from the airport to the pod, right?
Yeah, no, literally, it was fucking horrifying.
Immediately no.
I told him, I was like, well, let's see. I want to see if we can get like a big name again, like Charlie Kirk or Michael Knowles or even Candace Owens. And my plan is I want to go with a Sailor Moon costume. So I want to.
We need to find something else to watch. I can't. There's no way. Okay, I genuinely don't know what else we're gonna cover.
Essentially,
I actually have nothing else planned. Holy fuck.
Love and the Moon.
You'd be super like being super self-serious about somebody else wearing a fucking costume.
Oh, let's see. I want to see if we can get like a big name again, like Charlie Kirk or Michael Knowles or even Candace Owens. And my plan is I want to go with a Sailor Moon costume. So I want to dress up. I don't know if with Candace, I feel like Candace would like insult me and make me feel really bad. But I feel like Michael Knowles or Charlie Kirk would just be like caught off guard.
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah, I think it'd be really funny.
I mean, I don't understand why. Like, if they wanted to really call you out, I feel like it's one of those things that you'd be super like being super self-serious about somebody else wearing a fucking costume. I don't know. You should do it just to see if it provokes a reaction, because I feel like it would be hilarious to see Candace Owens or Michael Knowles be like, the reason why you're losing this debate is because you showed up in a Sailor Moon costume. Like, how are you supposed to swing that, Also, like, a lot of people wear costumes on that show, so it would be fun. Would you do, like, the wig and everything?
Yeah, I'd go full out.
The space
I'd be
buns.
like, yes, in the name of, what is it, love and the moon. That's her catchphrase, in the name of the moon, I will punish you.
My favorite one was the blue one, just because blue's my favorite color.
Amy? I know, I'm such a
I
fucking
know,
nerd.
I've never-
I know everything about Sailor Moon. I will...
You'll have to teach me, because definitely not a Sailor. Like, in the abstract, yeah, I love the aesthetic. I wish I were, but I'm a fake fan because I've never seen an episode. And my sister liked the green one.
Jupiter.
Yeah, Sailor Jupiter. And when I was younger, my mom took us to this shop called like Big Lots, which is like a cheap ass version of Kmart. And we got Sailor Moon dolls, and I got Sailor Venus, and she got Sailor Jupiter, the green one, and her head popped off because it was such a cheap doll.
Jesus Christ.
And the same day that we were playing with them, and then that was the end of my sister liking Sailor Moon for quite a while because it freaked her out.
Aww.
It's just it's like so dull. I just can't. No, this rules. Okay, this is what Deep wants. Deep just wants women to just tell. He wants them to just tell stories about their lives, to just like share increasing like more and more details. He sees each one of these inane stories that's just about like, oh yeah, my sister had a Sailor Moon doll, and then the Sailor Moon doll's head came off, and then my sister stopped liking Sailor Moon because it was scary. He just wants this endlessly, because eventually they're going to tell a story that reveals some embarrassing detail about their life or traumatic thing or something they're hung up on, and then he gets to feel like Now he knows something that he can hold over their head or some shit. Now he's got something he can post about. I don't have the hatred for women to sit through. I don't have the requisite hatred for women to sit through 1,000 of these stories just to get one that I can use against them. I would just rather not listen to the women.
Would you ever cosplay with me?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, one of Sailor Moon characters.
I guess I would. I feel like I'd be, again, like, it's the equivalent of me wearing a band shirt.
I'm not sure that I have the
don't listen.
strength to listen to all these stories just for one story to use against them. Hits play immediately.
What a fucking asshole.
Too, because I've never watched any Sailor Moon. I don't know Sailor Moon lore. But yeah, of course, the outfit's cute.
My dream, my fantasy is I want to get a group of friends that are all girls and have them all dressed up as a Sailor Moon squad. I have dreamt about this for years. Yeah.
That's only going to require
Yeah, what's that guy's problem?
Friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on his
all
back.
dressed up as a Sailor Moon squad.
Okay.
I have dreamt about this for years. Yeah.
That's only going to require like 9 friends, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of people.
I don't know. I have enough. I just don't know if I have enough who would dress up, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to review the shit show that was that debate. I watched about half of it.
Okay, so they're done with the Sailor Moon discussion. So this is the segment that Deeper Armor wanted, okay? So it was like 10 minutes of the content Deeper Armor wants. 7 minutes of it. And now we're on to debate review. Actually, wait, no, we might get more here. They might keep talking.
We're not going to review the whole thing. The whole thing is like
Cancer?
it is cancer.
Why is this making me angry? Because you're a misogynist. Because you're a misogynist and you hate women. And you hate intelligent, strong women. And you can't stand to hear them talk and express their opinions.
Answer. And it's also like 3 hours. And I was actually surprised at like where it starts off. You guys are going to see, but like it starts off with a discussion about like philosophy and informal logic before it actually launches into the main topic, which is just feminism.
Well,
broadly.
yeah. Because the point
So broad.
The reason why I wanted to really get into that is because I kind of wanted to like...
I'm watching this with a serene smile and a light in my heart.
get him to admit that his worldview is not logic. Essentially, it's like as objective as anybody else's, or that his like belief in religion is actually not objective whatsoever. But like,
does he claim that it is? He claimed his arguments were secular. As like his arguments aren't secular, because I've seen Andrew Wilson debate, and there comes a point in every conversation that he has, especially ones that are more focused on like the Christian nationalist aspect of his ideology, where he does admit that he really just subscribes to divine command theory, which is basically like if you ask him enough, like, well, why do you believe this? Why do you believe this? Why does the Bible believe this? It's like, well, because God commands it so, and he just accepts that.
Yeah,
so.
and that's bullshit. Do people still watch whatever podcast? It seems like no one talks about it.
That probably has happened, but I think a lot of Andrew Wilson's arguments, he does actually argue from like basically a secular perspective and doesn't. Like if he's arguing with some atheist feminist, he'll usually do the whole, what is it, like, oh, where do women's rights come from? Who secures women's rights? And then they're like, oh, well, we all secure women's rights. The law secures women's rights. He's like, and then keeps pressing on the fact that, you know, women's rights come from men, and that if men as a group decided to take away women's rights, then women would have no recourse against it. You know, like that's the line he usually runs down, which does work from a secular perspective if you're like, I don't know. It's difficult to argue against, just kind of not the point.
Anymore. Yeah, that actually has like a good amount of viewership. Like at least the feminism conversation still get like over 100K viewers on YouTube.
Yeah, the one right before was with some chick, Crazy Desiree or whatever. I don't know. I felt like I read the comment section on the whatever on her episode.
Are we supposed to? Not are we supposed to? Has anyone seen this Desiree stuff? Is that actually any good? I've been getting sent it. Is she actually crazy enough to be farmed? Or... Because I tried watching like 5 minutes of one of her video and it just seemed like she was rambling about fucking nothing.
Like, you were getting more praise than I think you ordinarily would have, because if people think that we're bad, or like the whatever audience thinks that we're hoes, we're like debaucherous, like women of the West.
304.
Yeah, they have like no idea, because they brought on some chick named Desiree who like was wilding out. Like at one point she like got up and went next to Andrew and like she didn't just like flash him, she had to like get up next to him and she like showed her butt.
What the
with
fuck?
like with a thought. It was weird. It was really weird. So yeah, anything is gonna be a step up. So I think that works in your favor.
They're like, wow, you didn't like sexually harass someone. You're so good.
And so I was like, I didn't understand why Brian was so adamant about reaching out to us to like do these 1v1 debates. I'm like, can you really like not? It's just the video itself. Like, if that's who that's who you can find, that I can understand why you're like, please.
What is this that I'm being sent? What on earth is this?
It's just the video itself.
This is supposedly a male VTuber doing female dances or something.
It's just the video itself. I'm closing my eyes. I can't deal this. I can't. That's crazy. Oh my god. Whoa.
Dude, the idea. Yeah.
Like someone come out and actually like hold a conversation with this guy.
Yeah.
But I also understand why people don't want to talk to Andrew Wilson, because there were times in that debate where it's like, it's just, I have to assume it's bad faith. Because I know that he's smarter than that. Like, I know that he knew what you're talking about, and I feel like he was being deliberately uncharitable or obtuse to, like, not...
He purposely... There's multiple times in that fucking debate where he made a claim, and then I would push back against it, and I'd be like, oh, well, this blah, 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 blah. And then he would change his claim, and then acted as if his original claim was the same thing the entire time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think I was fucking crazy. The engineering one is the clearest...
The applied thing.
Yeah, which is, like, it doesn't matter what the fuck type of engineering you do. At the end of the day, like... You're designing. You're not physics. That's like.
Yeah. How much? Thanks for the whatever. From whatever, because I can't see anything.
Wait. Okay.
Maybe Pixie will shout you out.
I want to see. Wait. I can't tell if that's a donation or if that's a little. It should be.
I don't think it's. I think it's just a follow. Thanks for the follow.
Well, it should be the cute little follows. Why is it not being the cute follows then?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. Can somebody tell me what's on the screen? We're too technologically incompetent.
Yeah,
because if
chat will let us know.
Yeah, if it's what is it? Because if it's a dono, then we should shout out the dono. It's a subscription. Oh, it's probably a YouTube subscription then.
Oh, okay. Thanks for subscribing.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. We have to fix.
Yo, thank you for the raid, Lyrics. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Lyrics Raiders. We are watching the Sugar and Spice podcast. It's a podcast where two women talk inanely about why they missed a flight and how much the weather sucks. Okay, hopefully that sounds fun.
So we have to make it cute.
One day.
Once
I get LASIK. Once I get LASIK and I can see without my glasses. The reason why I don't wear my glasses is because we have really big like soft boxes, and I just don't like how the glare looks, so I suffer through being blind.
Yeah.
For the sake of it.
Fairhurst says, my follow isn't cute. Pepe Hands followers are like spinning triangle thing. If you follow on Twitch, it should be cute. We at least are. I thought we fixed it on the YouTube one, but I guess not. Loner Box is cute. Loner Box. What, are they watching this right now? We're from Loner Box's chat. Okay. Well,
were we rated?
No, I don't think we were rated. I think he just mentioned that we were on stream or something.
Oh, okay.
Well,
wow, cool.
Loner Box.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, let's get into this. Let's get into the cancer.
Okay. I'm having trouble with your stupid mouse. I hate your mouse.
The only wireless mouse that I have was this ergonomic mouse that I bought thinking I was going to love, and I absolutely kind of hate it.
Are they saying anything? No.
That's the only wireless one that we have, so we have to suffer. Also, we still haven't gotten lap desks. We exist.
This is
holy fuck.
I tried to raid, but it wasn't enabled. Oh, how is it not enabled? Okay, well next time we'll enable it. Bummer. That sucks. That's so sad. Okay, next time.
Okay, sorry. Boxheads. What's his community's name?
What is
I put it at 0.75. Great idea.
Name.
Loners, nomads.
Loner. Oh, that actually would be a
that
really
would be cute,
name. Right? They're little nomads.
Nomadic societies. The first nomadic society that existed on Twitch was Lonerbox's community. It's a dumb reference to a point that was made in the debate that you
Okay.
guys may or may not see, depending on what section we review, where he seemed reluctant to admit that there were societies that
That were nomadic.
That
I'm
were
like,
nomadic.
Dude, this is basic history. Sometimes when in the guerrilla war, okay, we just have to watch because I'm like, there's so many things that I want to like rage about.
I know.
I'm a loner as well. Boner box. Jesus Christ. Okay, here. I think I might sacrifice your thing to the gods.
It's gonna be fine. Also, we don't have YouTube Premium, so there will be some ads. Bear with us, you guys.
What, forever? Can they see the
I'm gonna do it. Watch party.
watch party? Wait, why is the watch party?
It's not showing. Okay. Well, in the meantime, we're gonna get someone to fix it.
You're gonna call in the tech support. I think it's because you switched the thingy. I don't know why.
Switch. Oh, because I went from using 2 monitors to just 1.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, at some point, because like I use this as my work computer, so I can't. If we have like the TV and both desktops set up or whatever, it's more difficult for me to use it. So I turned it off, and then we barely turned it back on.
Okay, can we get to the fucking point, please?
Really moderate.
Yeah, he just like
let's
said,
Like,
go.
and come fix
there.
this.
The decoration.
So then it's difficult because I feel like Andrew gets away with doing like snarky, like it's not even playing field whatsoever, right? Like he basically has to be as much of like a kind of asshole as he wants
Ezekiel, you're fucked, bro. Why Pixie got this show the stompers?
towards me, but then if I do it, especially since the cards are like stacked against me, it's like, oh, you see, she's like a raging feminazi bitch. So I always have to be like, like nice, even though like I'm like I want to be kind of an asshole right now.
Why are you eating popcorn? Yeah, that bothered more people than I thought it
Put
would.
the
It bothered so many
dogs
people. Some
away.
people were mad. But
No.
yeah, so that was more difficult. I prefer this. I prefer 1v1.
Batso super chatted $2. Let's hear that Pxie plain story again.
And like having like,
I would
3v1s.
say
Well, you get
dollars.
to talk more, and like the other conversations, I feel like just naturally, you're really outspoken, you're really outgoing. But Farah and Jasmine also have huge personalities, so they're more likely to dominate the conversation than you are.
Yeah, and I also think it's more difficult because you know, it's not like we all agree 100%.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like when you're co-debating with people, there's a fine line that you have to balance between like kind of co-signing opinions that you don't really share, but you want to focus on, you know, really going against the opponent as opposed to attacking your kind of the people debating with you. But also that can put you in more difficult positions because if you're trying to articulate a point that is a bit at odds with what they've just said, you're trying to balance that against undercutting them, but also making your point in a coherent.
What's the
and concise
Pixie
way that-
Plain story? This podcast opened with Pixie telling a 5-minute story about how she tried to get a plane, but then the flight was delayed because of the weather.
That's not going to like negate everything that they just said or contradict
Yeah.
what you're saying. So it's definitely like this you're having to make this calculation like instantaneously anytime you get the chance to speak, because especially like Michael Knowles,
Yeah.
he'll just basically assume you guys are hive mind and are basically thinking the same thing. So
Yeah, it's super fucking difficult. And then it's like what is it? I was gonna say something. Oh, it's I don't want to throw other people under the bus, but it's like their line of argumentation is not the line of argumentation I would go for. So then it's just like I feel awkward about it. I'm just like fuck, I'm like
Yeah.
But we got it fixed.
all right, let's get into it.
Where the fuck? I'm going to kill your computer. I'm gonna just this
you-
mouse
you-
shouldn't exist.
you can do
okay,
it.
this
It's
mouse
good
should
for your
not,
hand.
It's good. I don't. It's not good for my fucking soul. Okay, like I actively feel myself dying when I use this mouse.
Me too. That's why I don't use it.
That's like that's just sacrifice Pixie. You know, like so much fun.
I watched this Pixie chick get owned by Andrew Wilson on whatever podcast a couple of days ago. They're going to be reviewing Pixie's whatever podcast appearance here. So they will be talking about it.
It's nice until you have to click stuff. Really, the issue here though is that we don't have like a lap desk to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could do one of two things. We could like kind of skip around in this main debate, or we could go to the clip channel and see what they put. But let me check on
Have they already
this.
put clips out of this? I hope
Let me
not.
see.
I mean,
Why I
somebody
hope
sent me a
not.
fan clip because I
That
haven't
was
gotten my
amazing.
clips yet.
No, they haven't done it.
Okay.
It's from the last thing that he did.
Okay. I kind of want you to choose the skipping around. I'm not mentally prepared right now to. Yeah.
Do you want to start from the beginning for a little bit and then kind of move forward?
Okay. If anybody wants to send us timestamps or something that they want us to go over, feel free to.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly.
Can you guys hear this well?
The Crucible. He's a political
Let us know how
commentator,
the audio
political
sounds.
satirist and blood sport debater. His feminist debate opponent is Pixie. As she goes online, she's the co-host
God, I
of
cringe
the
whenever I
Sugar
watch
Spice
myself.
podcast. She graduated from University of Florida with a triple major, getting her BS in psychology and
Wait, is that part of her billing now when she goes on whatever podcast? She's the co-host of the Sugar and Spice podcast? Nah.
very, very quickly.
Can you guys
Nah.
hear this well?
The Crucible. He's a political
Let us know how
commentator,
the audio
political
sounds.
satirist and blood sport debater. His feminist debate opponent is Pixie. As she goes online, she's the co-host
God, I
of
cringe
the
whenever I
Sugar
watch
Spice
myself.
podcast. She graduated.
The co-host of the Sugar and Spice podcast with 11 concurrent viewers and 100 subscribers.
Graduated from
Okay.
University of Florida with a triple major, getting her
So don't, why even, okay, I maybe just do it to get it, to shout it out, I guess. But I don't know, man. It's just like to say, oh yeah, I'm the co-host of this podcast when it's like the podcast hasn't even restarted. Like there's no I don't know, man.
BS in psychology and BA in philosophy and economics. Now, you can each have an opening statement, and the rest of the show will just be an open debate/conversation. Pixie will go first, and then Andrew. So go ahead, Pixie.
Hi, I'm Pixie. I was asked to basically begin with a general worldview. Obviously, that's really complicated and really hard because the world's complicated and hard. But if I had to say what I generally
They're both on their phones already. They've just started the video, and they're both already on their fucking phones, man. Dude, you're on a podcast. This is like you're.
Most of my principles are utilitarian-like, the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people with the least of.
Wait, I just want to mention that when I debated Candace Owens, even though everyone was like, "Oh, you like did a pretty good job," you know, you didn't have a lot of space to talk. Like it's from what you were able to talk, it was good. I immediately after that debate, before anybody could tell me anything, I was like, I failed. I did such a horrible job. Like I'm never gonna be able to go on these shows again.
Taylor Swift. That's so fucked up. What the fuck? Taylor Swift.
From what you were able to talk, it was good. I immediately after that debate, before anybody could tell me anything, I was like, I failed. I did such a horrible job. Like I'm never gonna be able to go on these shows again. Like I am an embarrassment to my country and to this entire planet. So I'm always harsher on myself when I watch this stuff. I'm always like really like judgmental. So it's like sometimes hard to watch again.
I mean, based on the feedback that you'll get from people, they will make it seem like you are the spokesperson for feminism, TM, and that you've like let down people on your side or whatever.
Let down the movement.
You know, the first comments that you get incoming are usually not indicative of like how people it ends up balancing out after a few days. That's when you can kind of do the autopsy of like how you did. Yeah. But this is a really, I don't want to say it's a rough, but were you anticipating that you would even have to be asked to start like just explain your worldview?
I watched one of the previous ones, but I thought it was like it's a bad question kind of. I understand why you would ask it because you want to get like a framework of how somebody works, but also at the same time it's like
it's very broad.
Yeah, like it's so fucking broad. It's really difficult to answer that question in a way that's the same.
The only thing is though that Pixie's a rich girl, so I mean.
He wouldn't be able
doesn't
to
really work.
Answer that, and I would have been thrown off guard if I had known.
She's like slave owner parents, isn't she?
Just explain your general worldview. You know.
Yeah.
I realize in the debate roast here, it's like a cardinal sin to have not thought about your moral axioms and whatnot. But even if you have thought about those things, it's a very different thing to be able to deliver that and like communicate that very quickly. Especially, I'd be worried that like, oh, if I use a word or a term that they're asking me to clarify, like if the inability to clarify like what you've just said or whatever is going to make it sound like you were just repeating something that you heard and just hoping that you sound like you knew what you're talking about.
Do you know that IQ meme?
Yeah, the bell curve one.
Yeah, and it's like IQ. It's like I don't, I can't really put my moral axioms, whatever worldview, blah blah blah. And the middle one is like I'm a whatever.
Miley Cyrus.
Or whatever from whatever school of thought, like super specific. And then the last one is like, yeah, I can't do that. No. Yeah, no, that is exactly how I feel, and it's fucking true. There's a reason why this is still like a hotly contested thing in philosophy, and like why people still go back and forth, and why people are like, because no one really fucking knows. There's like more than one way to skin a cat, right? It's a very dark saying when you think about it.
I mean, I don't think most people, even people that are like well versed.
She's not from the USA, is she? Where's Pixie from again? She's from some Latin American country, isn't she? Puerto Rico.
Even have philosophy PhDs or whatever would be ready to contend with that question. Maybe I'm severely underestimating like how like the average like philosophy PhD person, but I feel like anybody would know that like no one is going to be able to adhere
Puerto
to
Rico, USA,
or
technically part of the US. Oh yeah, technically.
Yeah, territory. So it's better to just kind of say it more general or not be such a hard line on like I feel like when you avow yourself as a utilitarian or whatever, it's like I don't like to use these labels because I feel like they just end up confusing a lot more than they end up being enlightening to people, because if people don't already know or have misconceptions or preconceptions about whatever you're saying, oh, I subscribe to this, believe, then you're going to be like tainting yourself for the rest of the conversation in a way that's not favorable towards you.
Yeah.
You know?
I also feel like a lot of these people, at least like from the general audience, don't even know what these labels actually mean. Like they're just going off of like I've read people being like, people who say they're utilitarian are fucking evil.
Yeah, they're gonna immediately think like trolley problem and that like, oh, okay, she would just like pull the lever.
But yeah, but to me it's like, how can you think that's evil? You're saving the lives of like
okay, so you would pull the lever.
Yes, I could not understand not pulling the lever. And then it's like, yeah, you do have a certain level of duty towards your friends and family, but also it's like, well, I don't want to get into this. It's like, why do your friends and family matter more than another person's friends and family? Just because in virtue of being you, like what makes you more special than the
I feel
other
like those questions, the thought experiments are not really useful because it's not indicative of like how you would behave in that discrete instance is not really going to be insightful as to how you would behave in any other situation, especially the more personal it becomes, the less likely that's going to be telling of like how your moral system sets up versus like what you'll opportunistically and impulsively do in the moment.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's I'm in pain.
The amount of harm possible. Other than that, I'm a big fan of roles like veiled ignorance, right? If we didn't know what race, gender, whatever component you want to say, and we're going to be thrust into society,
the king of the liberals.
I just want to live in a world that is as equal as possible in terms of opportunity and, with a basic standard of living. That is my ideal. Obviously, life be a little bit more complicated than that. And even in terms of utilitarianism, utilitarianism, yeah, I still believe that.
How many utils did you just lose?
So many. I am going to that place.
Negative 10.
I still think that we have certain duties towards, our loved ones or, our friends, family members, etc., etc. But yeah, overall, I have more of a utilitarian perspective on things. So that's my general worldview.
Peace out, you too, homie.
Sorry, did not mean to press that.
Did you hear that?
I
did it? Okay.
I was cleaning up the popcorn.
And then I guess we can get into your views on feminism.
Yeah.
This is painful. This is really bad. I'm
struggling
struggling
that you
with
gave me
this.
a worldview, so that I knew what prism you're looking through as you kind of tell me what your takes are on feminism.
Yeah, so basically my general view on feminism is that we've made a lot of long strides when it comes to
Can we-
equality. I still think that there's certain like, gender stereotypes or behaviors that we like punish for both men and women. I
They,
think
they're
men
still
are
on
sometimes just, like,
process
better
either.
when
They
it
do
comes
this
to-
for at
wait,
least
Spoil
40
this for me. Is
minutes.
Andrew ever asked to
Oh.
give his worldview?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't remember if he does.
There's power structures in
That'd
place
be so slimy otherwise.
because of old notions of what it means to be masculine or feminine. But yeah, I just want to strive to be in a world where, you know, a guy can act sad or emotional and they're not punished for it, and where women can act like, you know, straightforward or confident or direct and not be punished for that either. That's just where I'm at.
So just to reiterate very quickly.
His lighting is like
your
slightly
general
better than
view
mine.
of
It
utilitarianism.
makes me
The only thing I
mad.
just want to quickly follow up on is just that you have duties. Just follow in threshold deontology where you feel that there's duties up to a point and then you switch over to utilitarianism.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if there was one moral system that solved it all, we wouldn't be constantly debating about this.
Is that
philosophy,
rule or
right?
act?
Like, this wouldn't be a thing that's still taught like in academic.
Did he just ask if you're rule or act utilitarianism or what?
No. He just asked.
I'm skipping.
To my opener here. So I came to Christianity first logically, rather than spiritually. Spiritual part that came after.
That little
Eye roll
look
dude.
I looked at. I don't know if you caught it.
No.
It was very slight. It was 2 seconds.
What, did you want to laugh at him being like, oh, I arrived at this logically?
Okay,
Okay,
like
dude.
cap. Just always.
You
cap.
arrived at it because somebody around you was probably Christian. That's how most people come to their worldview and whatnot. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely like a post hoc thing. Is that you are raised in an environment where you're thrust into one worldview, whether it be Christianity, secularism, Judaism,
But isn't Andrew like a born again Christian? He wasn't.
Islam, something, and then from there you're either going to continue on a path and stick with it because you
He wasn't like religious. They became religious, right?
passively agree with it. It's like a thing that you've ambulantly lived around, or at some point you'll have some like crossroads in your life that you're going to start to question and interrogate it more,
Yeah.
And be more critical of it. But
It's
arriving at it
because
logically,
you're-
I don't
like,
think
who
you
the
can
fuck
do
do you
that.
think
No.
you are, Descartes? Like, I'm sorry, and even Descartes was wrong. Okay, so just shut up. No, okay, whatever. I wanted to do that. I wanted to be like, oh, really? Like, I want, but whatever.
The logical part. That actually
Sure,
is very common
please
with
elaborate.
people know. So to give you kind of my framework and understanding, I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian, so that's the viewpoint that I go, look at the world from. But
It's unfortunate.
Intel Wild donated $100.
This person pissed me the fuck off. I think it was them. I'm not sure. Somebody kept donating every time I was about to like
Speak.
Yeah.
Right. And has like a sort of ethos to it. Distribution.
His is not like a Catholic.
It's
view.
completely morally inconsistent to me because like
Wait,
thing.
how long will they
It's funny how
pause
she
that
gives
for?
evidence. Well, I think the problem
Yeah,
Is God and must be God because that's the only inherent unchanging standard that there could ever be for truth. Essentially, I feel like most everything that anybody tells me who's not a Christian is a lie because it has no foundational.
Oh, he
grounding
was
for it to be
Christian
true.
before?
It's moving
Fair
towards some kind of standard which is
I have, like,
completely
low-key
arbitrary.
I thought I heard him say that he wasn't that he wasn't like religious before, that he wasn't practicing or anything. I could be wrong.
I think that your worldview
No, you
in and of itself
don't.
destroys the
Stop
ability,
it.
the very ability for you to even have knowledge. So that is my worldview and how I see things. Now, I'm not here to have a precept debate with you about Christianity, right? But I did want you to understand my viewpoint and how it is that I think about Christianity. And I think most Christians think of it this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go back because I know we're supposed to talk about feminism. I want to ask you if you've ever heard of Daddy Problems.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
we
the
can
thing
talk
is that those can be reconciled through the Orthodox
Wait, okay, what are these? I couldn't even.
and relative.
that didn't probably.
Yeah, that was not, or like some sort of like orthodox, like, or say,
You need to know things if you think that knowledge itself has no standard for objectivity.
Real to me, right? It is still something that is, you know, actively affecting my life. I cannot just
Okay, I'm struggling with this. I'm really struggling with this. I'm really struggling with this. This is like the worst possible content. 2 people doing a debate review of a debate one of the person was in. One of the people was in. One of the people was in. It's terrible content. It's horrible content. Oh my god, literally, you people are so retarded. There's literally... I'm not even explaining it. Figure it out yourself. 6-month-old news. 8-month-old news. 9-month-old news. 9-month-old news. Did you know that Tom and Sleeper Chaser, did you know that? Did you know that happened 9 months ago? Yeah, I realized it happened 9 months ago when I pressed Sleepy about it. And was like, hey, you're feeding this freak lines, right? And Sleepy was like, yeah. Yeah, I realized that 9 months ago. Please. There are videos on my channel where it's spoken about. Please do not come into chat and ask me to cover Tom 10. I hear everything that's going on with Tom. Nothing new is going on with Tom. He just argues about the same dramas every night. Why would I want to watch Tom and Food Shops and Mantis, 3 mentally ill substance abusers who collectively do not ever garner more than 100 viewers? Well, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved in their intricate months-long e-dating drama with Sassafras and Sick. I don't want to be around these people. I don't want to be told to cover these freaks. I don't want to be informed of what's going on with them. I see it all. It's constantly spoken about in various places that I check. I'm seeing it all. I'm so much more plugged in than any of you. It's my job to be plugged in, okay? I've accepted it as my job to be plugged in. Whatever you think I haven't seen, either put it in my Discord and then never mention it again. Certainly do not come to my chat and tell me about it. Holy fuck.
Just like pretend it doesn't. It doesn't make it any less real. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can say that, but I'm just going to grant it. I'm just going to grant that it's all real to you.
Okay.
So even granting that it's all real to you, right? From what is real from your perspective, can you change the laws of logic?
No, we've already gone through that. No, I did. I answered it.
You have never denied that you cannot change the laws of logic by definition.
Yeah. I feel like he kept trying to set me up for a gotcha, like it would like prove anything, even though I never disagreed with him on that.
Yes, then that's the only standard you can appeal to for objective knowledge, right?
Hey, Kuihman, did you see that Brother Waller was taking shots at President Sunday but wouldn't speak to on stream? Yeah, I'm aware of that bug. I was involved in that conversation in Discord, in fact. I was in there. I was talking to both you and Sunday, I believe, when that exact moment occurred.
What, the laws of logic?
Yeah. What other objective standard can you think of which is unchanging?
Well,
like with almost everything, people come to this chat and tell me about.
Even if there is a reality outside of my current experience, which I do not know if that's the case, whatever. There are still these basic components of our experience.
Kuihman, did you see that last night Tom and Big Tech had a 6-hour conversation about theology? Did you see this, Kuihman? Kuihman, you've got to cover this. You've got to cover this 6-hour conversation between Tom and a washed-up groper about theology. You have to watch this now. It's so important. You have to see this.
And yeah, like the laws of logic, in a sense, are an experience, right? Thinking like 1 + 1 = 2 is something that you are actively experiencing, going through, thinking about, putting together.
No, I disagree. I believe that these are discovered. They're not subjective metrics of the human mind, but rather discoveries, which you find because they're true.
So
external
now
to mind.
you're presupposing an external world, which brings us back to our problem.
Hang on. I'm not presupposing an external world. What I'm saying to you is, from your subjective metric right now, which is what you consider to be everything in reality which exists and that you could ever perceive of, from that metric, do you agree that when you pass away, the laws of logic will still be here? Even if you can't perceive them.
Yeah, no, that's presupposing that there is a existence outside or
That's
after
right.
myself.
Everything is a presupposition which reduces itself to an unerring standard, which has always been there and always will be there and always must have been there to assume creation.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and just because I've been asked to cover Tom 10, we will be doing another hour of Sugar and Spice. That is right. We're putting an hour on the clock. Another hour of coverage, okay, from now. Starting now, I am locked in for at least an hour of Sugar and Spice, okay?
If he's saying everything is like a presupposition.
He's saying he was like acting like the laws of logic existed in this box that mankind at one point just unlocked and discovered, you know.
Yeah, which
as if there weren't advancements in that field, you know, and to form the entire discipline of logic at this point, you know.
Yeah, and what is it? The problem is like even if that's true, those are experiences or
Calling to Sugar and Spice, that's the most embarrassing thing that's happened at school.
Those are essentially experience-based at the end of the day. It's how to go through your subjective livelihood. I don't know. I kind of want to skip towards more of the feminism stuff because
we'll do a few more minutes of this and we'll fast forward.
Or any justification for knowledge.
I don't think, what is it? I'm trying to think how to phrase this. You are basing your worldview off a presupposition that there is an external world, which I don't even 100% disagree with. What I'm trying to convey here is that it is our...
No. You're...
Like at one point he's like talking about like object permanence, you know?
Yeah.
Like just because we die or whatever doesn't mean that like that it's going to have any implications about like truths that we know about the world, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I die, the theory of evolution is still a theory of evolution, right?
Yeah. I mean...
It's strange for him to set up that paradigm or whatever as if it really illustrated any point that he was trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was trying to point out that, like, oh, you see, like, because when you die, things still continue to exist. That's proof of an external world. And it's like, well, you can't even really prove that because when you're dead, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know anything that happens really after you die. You're just supposing that it continues. Which, again, it's not even something I'm, like, against. I just want him to basically admit that, yeah, everything to some level is subjective, and that's okay. It doesn't make it any less real to us, you know? Just because something is like, and I think that's the biggest flaw that people fall into, like, logically when it comes to this stuff. They're like, oh, if something is subjective, it's like somehow less real. And that's like what I'm trying to dismantle here, where it's like, no, it's literally just as real and as impactful as anything else in your life. Like,
I wish we would use something that was truly discoverable, like electricity or gravity, right?
Yeah.
Like unchanging concepts or whatever that we created a language around to explain and talk about, but not something that, you know, we could have the entire understanding of gravity, but it could have gone by like a different name, but like we would still be essentially referring to the same concept.
Yeah.
You know, but no, he has to go with with the laws of logic.
Presupposing that you can have this conversation right now. You're presupposing that.
What?
The
Okay.
same concept.
Yeah.
You know, but no, he has to go with
Wait, what is he using spring
Subjective
as an
that
example
people fall
for?
into, like, logically when it comes to
Okay, I don't. Yeah,
I
whatever.
would explain
I
it
don't
or
care.
whatever.
I don't
but it
care
must
about
mean
figuring it
that
out. I don't care about
it's
figuring it out.
divine or supernatural in nature or whatever. It's God is a huge assumption on your part.
I mean, we could get into like a theological debate about God if you want to.
Well, I would like to move it to feminism,
Okay.
right? If I have
wasn't
substantially
ready.
answered your questions so that you understand where I'm coming from my worldview.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I'm just like a little bit uncertain when it comes to.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then I would have to cross-examine what you gave us for utilitarianism, which wasn't much.
Yeah,
And then
no,
we
no,
could-
absolutely,
We could dive into
100%
that.
sure.
But I would like
I
to
like how he starts like trying to like diminish what I'm saying because he can't like contend. Like he's like, oh, you know, it wasn't much. Like,
dive into the purpose of the debate now that you know my worldview.
Okay,
The
we can dive
worldview itself
into
wasn't to
feminism.
be the debate, though I'm happy to do one in the future with you on this.
Okay.
I feel like he was the one who dragged this out or whatever. He was like, I want to talk about feminism or whatever, even though he couldn't help but like, which is fine, you know, for the conversation to like naturally gravitate towards these concepts first or whatever. But like, I don't feel like he's in any position to express exasperation as like to why you're still talking about this or whatever, because he wanted you to earnestly grant some of his precepts or whatever, but he was not going to do that for you. So I don't see why there was any reason to meet in the middle on that. I think the whole point is to demonstrate and like compare and contrast. Like, yes, you guys have not worldviews that I would even say are like diametrically opposed, but are certainly different, right?
yeah, I mean, I don't even think they're like, I know, I think deep down he knew that if he
I see.
granted me the idea that like, oh yeah, like everything essentially goes through like a lens of subjectivity, then when it came to like his God arguments, it's like, well, if we agree on this basis, like why is yours more
Correct.
yes, like, or why does something being
Because mine's true is what he would say. Mine is true because God and yours is face.
Are we having
or
fun?
Fake and a huge assumption relative because you're.
Are we having fun, guys?
no, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason, but if anything, we'll just circle back.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay, because what my concern is that once we start talking about like feminism or worldview, I'm concerned that you're going to bring it back to God, which is
I make secular arguments.
okay, cool, awesome.
No, he
Great.
doesn't.
Before we do
Spoiler,
that,
he
I'll
does
just allow
not.
TTS to come.
Fuck this person. I don't want to listen to their fucking TTS.
That's related to feminism. I don't know if we've had you on the panel since, Pixie, but this is something that we've brought on our dating talk panels very frequently. The are you familiar with the man versus bear
God.
question?
Yeah.
And so, what the?
No cap. 9-month-old Tom Tent might cook better than this. Too bad. The decision's been made.
Okay, our stream deck.
And you think
out
Chatter's
there.
bringing
So,
up
I
the
mean,
same thing
right-
for the
right
whole
before we get
last
into the middle of the-
fucking week for it. The exact same thing that these retards like Mantis and Tom and Food Shops and Zonya and Reservoir and Sassafras and Sulfur and Sick. These are Cybermen. These are Cybermen, okay? If we're talking about power scaling here, we're talking about like what we're doing, okay? I'm in like I need to be fighting like Raditz right now. And you are just showing me Cybermen. Thank you for the 10 gifted, Isu. That's huge. That's huge. There is just absolutely no reason to be looking at the same circular drama, the same circular fucking drama between a bunch of inbreds, hicks, trailer trash, drug addicts, autistic neets who are 2 days away from quitting streaming. That's the whole of YouTube, bro. Then we gotta find... Show me hillbilly hicks, drug addicts, trailer trash, and autistic transes that are 2 days away from quitting streaming. That are doing something fucking interesting and new at least, okay? I can't watch them do the same stuff, the same monkeys type on the same typewriters every fucking day, expecting the works of Shakespeare to be produced. I just can't sit around waiting for that. I can't keep covering it. It's fucking horrific.
The feminism conversation. I wanted to.
Why not just start with this? Seriously, like just completely derailing the conversation to ask a meme question. Literally, I don't get it.
Oh, the bear.
A meme question that provides absolutely no interesting insight into what anybody who is answering it, because it's a fundamentally unserious thing that trended on social media, as if that really, again, provides any insight into like what any answer that anyone gives.
It's because they're trying to get a gotcha. They want me to just be
Yes,
like,
Namekians are black.
bear without further explanation, and then be like, you see,
or like any nuance, you'll go on to see that like any nuance that she attempts to provide, they try to like delegitimize or say like you're not working within the confines of the spirit of like this binary that we're setting up that doesn't need to even exist or whatever.
Yeah.
And just can't accept or like take umbrage with the fact that like, yeah, most women that are saying bear don't like, if you actually held a gun to their head and was like, okay, man or bear or whatever, they know that that's not really the answer. So I don't know why they're so pressed on it. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's exactly why or whatever. It's like you're missing the point of a very simple question.
Just hear your take on that. So the scenario is, if you ask a woman, would she rather be stuck in the woods with a random man or a random bear? Quite a lot of women respond by saying bear.
Ooh, this is a tough choice.
It's a
But I
tough
can't go
choice.
like this. I'll give up my.
Kuihman moved to the city and started wearing skinny jeans and sipping lattes. Is that what's happened, Bug? Is that what's happened? Do you want to, Bug? Do you want to watch the Tom 10? Sorry, okay, Bug Squander. Guys, everyone, guys, Bug Squander's asked for this. Okay, let's watch some Tom 10. I've forgotten where I came from. Apparently, let's check in on this.
The left's always trying to act like we don't like gay people. Really, they act like gay people are all oppressed, but they're not. Who's oppressed is white male Christians. And then I play the clip of him saying over and over, like, who doesn't like gay people? And it's wah! And it's got like a massive like finger pointing at Andrew, massive finger pointing at Zen Shapiro.
Wow, it's Tom recounting a video he made to own someone. Awesome. Skip to a random point, and it's basically the same thing. It's the same thing, except it's with a boring old sped that we've covered a million times. Bug saying fuck no. No, I know Bug didn't want. I know you didn't want the Tom 10. We just had to prove the point.
My level is still too high.
I love how what he's saying is basically we find that a lot of women have a sense of humor when they answer this question.
What's your take on this? What's your answer?
Because like the bear answer is obviously just like it's hyperbolic, you know.
I kind of want to skip the matter
To the
bear
question.
portion.
Am I allowed to ask what type of bear?
What's a random bear? And a random man.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
I might be wrong on this number from last time. You're there.
Basically, long story short, chat. I think black bears don't. Well, no, it's not that I think.
Oh, rolling the dice.
99% sure black bears don't realize they're apex predators, essentially, and they'll leave you the fuck alone most of the time.
The only interesting part of this is how Andrew had to like change the question and shift the goalpost for you to attempt to get a gotcha on you.
Yeah.
By saying like 10 bears or 10 men, or like either he increased the sample size of the men and bear in this question, or he started to talk about like direct interactions when the premise of the question was
bitches hate Adblock, okay? Bitches hate
He was like,
Adblock.
oh, isn't the man more likely to help you?
Oh, he said pat on the head. That's what it was. He was like, would you rather like pat a man on the head or like pat a bear on the head? And it's like, all right, you're starting to change the question, right?
He would do this so many times. That's what his. If he can't get me, he just keeps changing until he feels like he got me. It was so annoying.
Yeah, which is funny because he like acts exasperated at the fact that there are people that just point out like, oh, the exceptions don't prove the rules, and he feels like liberals use edge cases to like make their arguments or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are like a mirror. It's two sides of the same coin, because his strategy is, instead of appealing to you know, random examples that would like disprove the rule or whatever, he like instead starts to like just slightly reframe the question to like get the answer that he wants.
Oh, it just reminds me of the whole fucking gun stuff. He was like, you know, women are more likely to get their guns taken from them. And it's like, okay, the vast majority of time, the person with the gun wins the battle. I'm sorry to say. Like,
what I don't like is like his invocation of statistics is that like all stats are results, right? Like they're not even It's just, it's, yeah, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
On whether there's a chance that the guy is like fucking insane and wants to like kill me or do bad things to me.
If you're such a savage, you can live in a forest. If you're just dropped in a forest with no equipment and you can just survive in there, then why aren't you savage enough to take care of yourself from a man?
What is it? There's a very big difference between being in a forest,
It's a complete non sequitur.
I know.
trying to savage for your own, like hunt for fish, whatever, start a fire, versus having somebody
How would you
actively
hunt for
attack
fish
you.
if you were in a forest?
If there's like a
Why did you do this? Like, I definitely would not have a, I'm not really yelling at you. I'm just like backseat debating or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, and like obviously in hindsight, 2020, very easy to say like no, but I just feel like there is absolutely no point in like playing his reindeer games when it comes to like, oh, you think that you can do that? Okay. Demonstrate to me about how you would do that, okay? When everybody knows that like the person that would survive in the forest is like not going to be man or woman or whatever, it's going to come down to knowledge.
Yeah.
Survival in the wilderness when you're a person living in the 21st century with the relative comforts that are afforded to you in a Western or developed nation is going to be completely, it doesn't matter how much strength. Like, I don't think a gym bro has a higher affinity or likelihood. Like, I don't understand like how their ability to like brute strength.
Yeah,
is it like a freshwater stream or lake or something?
Yeah, how would you do it?
Ideally, I would find some sort of like small insect or bait or something like that. Try to do something maybe with like a lining of like leaves or something, basically like a little
because your answer's good.
And use that to try to lure in the fish.
That's how you would try to catch fish in a forest?
I'm not an expert at catching fish, but if our ancestors did it for thousands of years, I'm sure that I can figure out a way through trial and error.
No, I'm here.
Okay. So I guess that really doesn't have.
See, like, you had no response to that. It's just entirely true or whatever.
I
It's like,
don't know what he wants.
Yeah.
And the movement towards
Can
egalitarianism.
they
do
move
you
past
agree?
this?
You know, you want like equality and like equity. Do me?
Can they just give up on the debate review already? Why are we?
I would have granted his definition or whatever. It's like obviously the thing that we're going to debate.
It's a 5-hour debate. You're not reviewing the whole thing, right?
And like have disagreement over is like what constitutes equality, what really constitutes equity, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like he's going to be, if you had actually gone down that path, he would be reticent to grant some of what you're saying or whatever constitutes as equality because they have this strawman idea of and conception of like what feminism is, what feminists are and believe.
Yeah.
So if you say something that's nuanced or unobjectionable, he'd still find a way to say it's objectionable, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not, that doesn't fit into his box of like his
What a
narrow
feminist
view of like what caricature of what a feminist is or believes.
Should be in the same like military bracket or whatever. I'm using a random example, and it's like, well, no, only if they meet the requirements to be in that bracket. Does that make sense? Like people will take it and think that on the basis of gender, it means that they should be exactly 100% the same, even if they're not as equally qualified.
Yeah, I don't think men and women are interchangeable widgets, or that feminists even say that they are.
Okay, just clarifying. Okay, we're good then.
Yep. So I mean, I think that that's fine.
Okay.
Right. So if your idea there is that their ontology is different, men and women, their being is different.
I don't. What do you mean by being like?
Well, they're not
spiritual-
Well, they're not interchangeable widgets. So what we would call telos or purpose, or the things that they're interested in, maybe from your perspective, are going to be different than the things women are interested in, and that's going to be innate somewhat.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, then we do have a problem of you thinking they're interchangeable widgets. So if you think their ontology is exactly the same, that men and women are exactly the same, then we do have a problem.
yeah. I think if I had to draw it out again, I would say that
You do a lot of drawing.
Yeah.
I like drawings. Go ahead.
There's probably like a scale of behaviors. I don't even like doing it this way, but I'm gonna put man, woman, even though I think this is dumb because I think there's just human behaviors in general.
Deep, you're the biggest fan of this podcast. Erin is the least humorous person on the planet. I'm reaching whether you're the big supporter here.
It mean the same. This is like a thing that I've seen it on Fresh and Fit, and I feel like you just asserted like a boneless version of it. Yeah. But they think that like, okay, black and white people are equal, right? That is not the same as the statement black and white people are the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. As far as like dignity or whatnot, that's the assertion, but like that's about it. It's not saying that like they're identical in any other respect.
Yeah.
Right.
That both men and women have. But I think there's
You're talking about a gender scale?
Yeah, essentially.
X amount of these qualities make you a woman, X amount of these qualities make you a man.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's where I would disagree. I would say that there's certain behaviors that are just human behaviors that both men and women have.
Yeah, I agree. So I would say anything that you would consider like a gendered emotions nonsense, anything you consider specifically a gendered behavior would be
I'm surprised
nonsense.
he said that, honestly. I didn't expect that from him.
I know.
I was like, that's kind of based, Andrew. Gendered emotions are stupid. There's no such thing. But
I know you could like, if that, it would be interesting if you brought that up in the context of something that related more to like gender, which obviously would get to like trans people or whatever, which is like, well, then how do you define like masculinity or whatever? Maybe it's like actions, but still you're starting to ascribe like arbitrary gender, you're gendering behaviors and whatnot. So it's interesting. Like, I just wonder how he reconciles that with the rest of his worldview.
I asked him if because we got to talk about like the Olympian that people were claiming had like XY chromosomes or whatever.
Yeah,
and I was
woman.
like, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to murderous intent, how fucking insane is Andrew going, stuck in a room with Pixie without a cigarette for 5 hours? Jesus.
Yeah, do you think that they're a woman or a man or whatever? And he's like, oh, I define that by the primary.
That is a terrible thought.
Sex characteristics or what?
Yeah, basically.
I'd smoke.
By, like, what is
thinking
their
about that.
primary, like, reproductive organs, essentially. Or the one, which is kind of weird because, like,
stressing me
have,
out.
like,
intersex people that have, like,
both or not completely
or ambiguous.
Yeah. But, I was like, so do you think the person with XY chromosomes, if they can give birth, they're a woman? And he said yes, which caught me very surprised because most conservatives are like.
I was just debating someone with this last night, and they were saying that like that person's a man. What do you know the name of the athlete?
I can't remember.
And I said, do you think a woman can have a penis? And they said no. And so I said, so how can a man have a vagina?
Yeah.
And then they like pivot. They never answered that. So.
Of course.
Right?
Okay.
Like if you can have tom girls, for instance, they're still females. You can have men that do little fucking tea parties or whatever. They're still men, right? They're still males.
Yeah.
So I would agree with all of that, right?
Okay,
so
cool.
I don't think that there's a specific I just think that the men and women perceive them differently, and that men and women are built differently.
Yeah.
From conception, they're built differently. Their brains work differently, and their bodies are different.
Yeah, I think
no serious feminist claims otherwise.
Well,
otherwise there would be nothing to study.
What is it? I disagree with the fucking brain shit. That claim drives me insane.
What's this?
It's a specific I just think that the men and women perceive them differently, and that men and women are built differently.
Yeah.
From conception, they're built differently. Their brains work differently, and their bodies are different.
Yeah, I think
no serious feminist claims otherwise.
Well,
otherwise there would be nothing to study.
What is it? I disagree with the fucking brain shit. That claim drives me insane. Like the whole, like the male and female brain. Like there's a reason why in psychology you don't study like the male brain and the female brain. And like there's a reason why like doctors or like scientists like individually, if you give them a brain scan, they can't be like this is like a female brain.
I'm looking at a female brain or a male brain or
like.
Yeah, I don't think that's even what he's saying. I don't think he believes in like the scan of the male and female brain being like. I mean, maybe he'll say he does at some point. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I wouldn't assume Andrew believes that shit. That's like an outdated TRA talking point. But obviously your brain, as in your thought process, does work differently. Like hormones have an effect on thought process, right? And emotions. So, like, I just...
Charlie Kirk had the audacity to tell me that a physician could look at a photo or an actual human brain and be able to determine its gender just by looking at it.
That's straight up wrong.
Which is insane.
That's
incorrect.
Literally not. It's literally not possible.
And the differences that we observe between male and female brains are statistical averages of gray matter. They're not a matter of distinct anatomical structures that a female and male brain differ on, or any of that. And even the statistical averages of like gray matter or whatever, that is all informed by socialization, because your socialization is going to have an impact on the way that your brain forms. So it just drives me insane.
That's why the whole like male female brain, that stuff, I'm just like, how much of it is like an inherent
I don't know that he was saying the fucking retarded TRA shit.
Biological factor versus women are essentially like rewarded more for being more social. So obviously your brain is going to develop in such a way that prioritizes like sociability or
right, like unless you're any child that has been exposed to socialization, which is aka a baby that is alive, because that's true because those are results, they're examples of discrimination and bias. They're not examples of like truths,
What I think drives me most insane is when what was I gonna say? Socialization, grayer. Oh,
the brain thing.
Oh no, the toy thing. Like people usually try to like use example of studies that have to do with like kids playing with toys at a very young age to prove like gender differences in the brain. And it's like the other part that they're not talking about is like two things. One, there's been like a couple of studies that have talked about like how much of it is actually like an inherent want versus how much of these kids are actually like pre-exposed to those toys at home and are just more likely to play with toys that they're exposed or have like previous experience with.
Okay, but this is like, okay, well this would be then. Wait, is Pxie transphobic now? Is Pxie transphobic now? Because I swear this study gets wheeled out every time someone's like, no, kids do understand gender. They understand gender from as young as... Is Pxie based now? Is Pxie based and transphobic now? Name a woman that could come up with T-5 till the brain got a shit. Please, it's Stylo. Why are you posting Little Dicky lyrics in chat?
So it's like, oh, like you see the girl's going towards the doll. Well, does she have dolls at home essentially?
Right,
Like these babies are not like just born in a vacuum. And I remember also reading some other studies that were like the children, when the parents and like the adult examiners were in the room, the children were more like to play with their toy or whatever. But then when they went like outside of the room, but when like behind like a two-way mirror, the children showed like a lot of preference, which also goes into the idea that like like a lot of it be socialization.
I was gonna say that just demonstrates
really
inward
bad.
bias. That doesn't demonstrate any truth that like, oh yeah, like this gender or whatever is more predisposed to gravitate towards quote unquote feminine things. I use colors to describe this. Like the easiest way to demonstrate that like pink used to be considered masculine color, it's not feminine color.
Yeah,
or vice versa with blue.
There's definitely differences in body, especially in strength. The brain argument is a lot more complicated because then it becomes a question of like nature versus nurture. Like the whole idea of like female and male brain is like pretty contentious. A lot of it like
yeah, but if you have one sex that's stronger, right, physically stronger on average, and the male sex is much stronger on average than women, now it's significantly stronger. The tailoring of society necessarily around that would create different interests, right?
Yes, at certain points. I think the problem is that as we have a society.
Yes, but that can be changed.
Yeah,
that can be changed. That's why he's like he's presenting that, or you.
What can be changed? Women being stronger probably can't be changed.
Your agreement or concession to that statement, as if it
immutable.
Yeah, as if it really means anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
or like that doesn't. That's not some like. It's not the own that he thinks it is, as the kids say.
It has evolved. And as we've had like more like, let's say machinery or even like other things have just come and spawned essentially, our DNA and like biological predispositions also somewhat.
It's like for that, it's like, let's say that there was a plague that only observed in humans or whatever.
Okay, this has to stop. This has to stop. This cannot go on. Why are they just reviewing Pxie's entire debate from yesterday? Why? I can't deal with it, man. It fucking sucks. Hey, shut up! All right.